And welcome to WLOX LawCall on this Saturday evening. Jim, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great.
Glad to have you along on this Saturday night. You got a brand new topic for us tonight. We are talking about construction, defects, damages. If you've had a construction project at your home and just something's gone wrong in the walls, we have got the perfect show and the perfect panelist for you tonight. It is Jim Reeves. Jim, good to have you, brother.
Likewise.
You've been wanting to do this show for a while, haven't you?
I have. We've had some cases come up in the last year or so that I thought would make an interesting topic. You know, as we said in the sort of the teaser, your home is typically your largest investment.
Right,
so
right.
People have problems with the construction. Sometimes there's adjacent construction. We had a case recently involving some street construction that caused damage to the houses. And it's interesting, legal concepts, what your rights are, what you need to do to protect yourself.
The defective side, too, which I know you've done a lot of work on defective products since Katrina. Katrina, for sure.
Absolutely. Defective shingles, a lot of defective products. And a lot of times people don't even realize, they think it's normal wear and tear, where you have warranties for things like shingles. People think, well, they just wore it a little bit early. But a lot of times you have legal redress if it doesn't satisfy or live up to the warranty that you were promised when you purchased a product.
Question of the week. And Jim, we saw this one come through, kind of perfect timing from this week, came from Linda. It says, we paid for high-end tile in our new home. It's been about 10 months and we're already seeing cracks into the floor. I suspect they didn't use what I requested. What can I do? Linda, let's see what Jim has to say about that.
Well, if you specifically paid for and agreed with your contractor to install this particular type of tile, you should get it. A lot of times what I see in this area, a problem that arises is a lot of times this is done on a non-written basis. You talk to the contractor, you tell him you want something, maybe you don't get it. 6 months, a year later, it's a problem, and it's a he said, she said sort of thing. If you're really going to hire a contractor to do any sort of major renovation, especially if you're going to build a home, you need a written, detailed contract that's reviewed by an attorney who handles those type of things. It'll become important later if something like this comes up. So clearly you're entitled to get what you bargained for, essentially. The question is, can you prove it now without a written document? And you can. It just becomes more difficult.
Jim, let me add on to Linda's question here a little bit. Let's give the contractor the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they did install the tile that she asked for, and here it is now 10 months and it's starting to crack. What if it is not the contractor or the person who laid it?
It could be the product.
It could be the product. Does she have an option there?
Well, yeah, and it depends. Okay, so most products today, new modern products that go into homes, come with some type of warranty. Typically your shingles have warranties, your plumbing fixtures have warranties, and so the first place to look for relief is the warranty and see what the warranties are in terms of for defects. The second thing is, even if you don't have a warranty, the warranty's expired, there may be litigation ongoing on a class-wide basis quite often for a defective product. If it's a product that is essentially as designed is a problem, then that problem is being replicated throughout the country. And today with the internet, people are much more adept at finding out about that. If you have a problem, you can get on the internet in 30 minutes and figure out if it's a widespread problem, if it's this is just an anomaly, and quickly determine whether there's something to proceed with. You have technically a claim, even if it's just your claim. The problem becomes whether it's enough damages or it's costly enough to engage in a lawsuit with just you. Typically it's not. And this is where class action, people complain about class action lawsuits a lot.
I don't.
This is where they're handy.
I don't, Jim.
This is where they come in effective. So if a lot of people have small damages that wouldn't on their own merit a lawsuit, you basically put all those together and everybody can get the relief that they should be entitled to, in this case, defective tiles, where you might not have a standalone case by itself.
Could go that way. What can we help you with?
Hi, Lauren.
We just got a new shingle roof about 3 years ago, and we're already seeing major wear and tear. I don't know if it's the shingle work or the way it was installed, and we were wondering what we should do next.
Okay, Lauren, great question.
Without telling me the brand name, please don't mention the specific name on here. Is this what is called an architectural shingle, one that's supposed to give sort of a three-dimensional look?
Yes.
Okay. There have been some problems with those shingles with a particular manufacturer. We're not allowed to talk about it here on air at this particular point in time. But Lauren, if you want to call my office Monday, I can talk to you about this. The problem we've seen with some of these shingles is they have typically 20, 30-year warranties, but they're failing much faster. They're losing the grains. When you have a hard rain, you'll see just the asphalt peeling off the shingles. And ultimately, it leaks at some point and has a problem. A lot of cracking, a lot of problems like that. And so you may have some legal redress here in your particular case. It depends on who made the shingle and when. But I'll be glad to talk to you about it Monday morning if you'd like to call the office.
Jim, now go over that type of shingle again when you were talking about the architectural shingle.
Well, yeah, they're the old shingles, a lot of them are just flat roof shingles.
Absolutely.
But they made an architectural design shingle so that it looks sort of three-dimensional. When you look at it from the road to the house, toward the house, it looks like it has some peaks and valleys to it, and it does. It's not flat.
Right.
And so it's an architectural shingle.
A little bit more expensive.
Right, a little bit more expensive. They figured out a way to make them cheaper. This particular company has, but quite frankly, they just have not held up the way they're supposed to.
Now, I think I remember Lauren saying they've had the roof for 3 years. That's far too early for any shingle roof
absolutely.
to start to fail.
That's a red light immediately. The shingles should last. These shingles, and most shingles, should last 20-plus years.
Right. So something's gone wrong for her.
Sure sounds like either an installation or the. In this particular cases that I've been handling, the problem is a defective design in the shingle and the way that they make the shingle.
Jim, let's flip that. Let's say the shingles are good, and it was the way they were installed by the contractor or maybe the subcontractor or something like that. What would be Lauren's options there?
Well, if the shingle itself is not a defective, then it probably means the installation was not proper. Could be.
Yeah.
And so then you may have some legal redress against whoever installed the roof.
Now, I suspect one of those things, like if you're going, against a local contractor, the money is just going to be tight. I mean, the thought is you just want your roof to be safe and sound.
Lauren, like most people in this situation, they're not looking to, get a huge amount of money. They want their house to be fixed, essentially.
Yes.
And most reputable contractors will bend over backwards to make people happy. Some won't, and you have to go to court to make them do it. But most, they value their reputation in the community. And most that I know, and I'm working with some now on some projects, they go out of their way to make their people happy, even if it costs them a little money, even if it isn't technically their fault.
Right, exactly. Right. And that's one of the benefits if you use a local person.
It really is.
Instead of somebody just coming through town. I got some extra shingles from the Gulf Coast from Russell. Russell has a septic tank like so many folks in the rural areas do. One of the local utility companies was doing some maintenance work around their poles, drove too far into his yard, crushed some of the septic tank lines. He's having a lot of trouble with it right there. What are his options?
That is a potentially a real problem. And you will see this quite often. I've just settled a number of cases involving essentially construction work that was done on adjacent roads and sewer lines that caused damage to slabs and other things in the homes that are surrounded. So anybody who's doing this type of work has a responsibility to do it reasonably and take whatever steps they need to take to not damage the property. Otherwise, they're responsible. I would start, if you hadn't already, with contacting whoever you thought did this, talk to them about it, see if they will voluntarily come out and repair it. Quite often, again, they will.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you don't get relief at that point, and don't wait too long, contact an attorney to see what you need to do to make them fix it.
And from what I understand, it's one of our local power companies. I would say most of our local power companies would try to do everything they could to fix the situation
if they think they broke it, then my experience is they will typically fix it.
Now, Kevin, good evening. What can we help you with?
Hi, Kevin.
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Hey, buddy.
Yes, how you doing? I have a question. I bought a vehicle for my wife, and a little while, say about a few months, I noticed that there was issues with the vehicle, and I contacted the manufacturer and started looking up information and found out that there was a recall on this vehicle for transmission defect. So I then took the vehicle into the dealership where they supposedly fixed the problem. We were about 2,000 miles before the end of the manufacturer's warranty. They supposedly fixed the issue, and about 3,000 to 4,000 miles later, the issue came back, at which point I felt as though I had no more warranty.
Yeah.
But there was an extended warranty for an extra 24 months that they never told me about.
Kevin, I think, man, this one hits close to home. I've had this one before.
It's a frustrating experience. And people run into this a lot of times with these recalls. they offer a repair, and it seems like the repair breaks down again just outside the warranty period. Let me make sure I'm clear. You found out that you do now have an extended warranty. Are you within that period of time? Is Kevin still with
I
us?
don't think he.
Okay.
I think Kevin was saying he did not not know that another extended warranty was possible.
Okay. So let me make sure I'm clear. So if you're within the warranty period, the obvious thing to do is go back and say, look, we're still in it,
Right.
and we need to have this fixed. The other thing is to let them know that you did not receive notice that you had an extended warranty, and that's why you didn't call. Look at your documentation. If they've given you written notice of the extended warranty, in this state, you're pretty much bound by what they give you in writing.
Right.
If they didn't and your paperwork does not indicate that you had an extended warranty, then you may have a good argument that they didn't tell you and can be able to prove that and may be able to persuade them to repair it for you. If you have a problem, ultimately, this is one of those kind of things that's tough because the price tag on this doesn't typically justify hiring a lawyer and pursuing a lawsuit. It is within the price range, though. You might be able to bring something in county court on your own.
Oh, that's true.
Do
it in justice court?
Yeah, something like that. So those are options for you. The first thing, I would go the path of least resistance. Look at your paperwork. If they didn't tell you about the warranty, I would tell them that. So, look, I've got all this paperwork. Nothing about my extended warranty is in what you've given me. Y'all didn't tell me about this. You need to fix my transmission, and see what they say. And look, a lot of times local car dealerships are the same way.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll, if it's clearly an error on their part, sometimes they'll step up and do what they need to do.
Let me ask you this. He mentioned that this started all as part of a national recall.
Mm-hmm.
Should he look into, as maybe there's a class action on this? I know a lot of these recalls do have separate class actions going on.
That's a good point, and they do. And you could, and we could take a look at that if you want to call Monday. We have access to national databases to determine whether there's a prevalent problem. If it's a recall, it obviously is, and whether it's rose to the level where there's actually a class action now. A lot of times they'll have what they call basically a silent recall where they don't announce it, but if you bring the car back, they fix it, and then it goes to an actual recall. It never rises to the level of a lawsuit. You just got to look into it.
In the show, what would you tell folks? You've obviously done a lot of construction lawsuits, had some successful verdicts and settlements and stuff like that. Where do you need to go? If you feel like something's wrong, get to it.
Get to it quickly. What I would say is typically, in most things, same things apply, common sense in the construction industry. Document. Have a written agreement. If you're unsure about it and it's a large home that you're building or expensive investment, take the time and take it to an attorney who can give you some advice on the front end. It'll probably save you a lot of headache on the back end.
Next week, we're talking about wage and labor laws, fair wages, and what you earn and a good day's pay and a good day's rate, all that goes into that. Matthew Medier will be with us next Saturday for that. But until then, good night.